There is no doubt that right now there is a housing affordability crisis in New England. In New Hampshire, only 60% of residents who live in the state can afford housing based on the median income. It's the lowest it's ever been in recorded history. The reality of the situation is that right now, if I was in my 20s working the construction job that I had back then, there is no way that I would be able to afford a home where we live in southern Maine. And honestly, it's a really unfortunate situation for families who are looking to purchase their first home in the area. So today we're going to talk about why it's not going to get any better anytime soon, and why if you can afford to buy a house, you need to do it now before it's too late. But first, let me introduce myself. My name's Cam Avery. I'm a local real estate agent with the Avery Realty Group and Keller Williams, and this channel is all about learning about Maine and New Hampshire. And so if that's something that you're interested in, definitely subscribe, and thank you so much for doing that. Before we delve into the details, let's take a moment to understand the gravity of the situation. New England, renowned for its beauty and cultural richness, is facing an unprecedented housing crisis. What started as a challenge has evolved into an urgent crisis that's affecting individuals, families, and communities throughout the region. So if you follow the channel at all, you know that I am not a doom and gloom kind of person, but I really don't believe that the situation is going to change anytime soon, because the reality of the situation is there just aren't enough homes for sale to support the demand for housing in New England. And I know that that's not something to like, but if you could do me a huge favor, just hit the like button. It's a small way of saying thank you for putting in the effort that we do put in to make these videos for you, and I truly appreciate that. New England has long been associated with higher living costs, but the recent surge in home prices and rental rates has pushed the dream of home ownership further out of reach for many. From Boston to Burlington to Portsmouth and Bangor, finding affordable housing has become an uphill battle. What's making the situation even worse is the diminishing affordability relative to income. Wages have not kept pace with the rapid increase in housing costs, leading to a scenario where many are struggling to allocate a significant portion of their income just to keep a roof over their heads. This is forcing hardworking individuals and families to make difficult choices. The shortage of inventory is the glaring issue that's contributing to the crisis. As demand continues to outstrip supply, individuals and families are left with limited options. In a balanced market, you'll typically have 6 months of housing inventory active in your market. Currently, we have about 1 month of inventory available. So even though interest rates have gone up, the New England housing market has not seen a decrease in home values simply because the inventory just is not there. Unless we experience a major flush of inventory, the incredibly unaffordable housing market in New England will continue, most likely causing a mass exodus of younger people who just cannot afford to live here. But does that mean that it's a bad time to buy a house? Well, on one hand, yes, but on the other hand, if you don't buy a house now, you need to understand that the gap between what you can afford and what houses cost is only going to increase. If you can afford to buy a home in New England, you need to do it now or sooner than later while you still can. The number of people that have told me I'm going to wait until the market crashes and then have come back a year later saying, oh my goodness, why didn't I buy last year, is staggering. And so guys, hear me on this one point if you don't hear anything else. The regulations set in place after the 2008 crash are working. The housing market in New England is not going to crash. In fact, it's just going to get less and less affordable for the foreseeable future. So if you can afford to buy and you don't currently own a home, you need to do so now while you still can. The good news, if we can call it good news, is that even if you buy now, you can reasonably expect your home to appreciate, benefit from all the great aspects of owning a home, and when the time comes to sell it at a profit, and to move into something that works better for you. I wanted to let you know that we actually created a complete relocation guide to southern Maine and Seacoast, New Hampshire. If you're serious about moving into the area, you can download it totally for free just by clicking the link in the description below. So is it really truly all bad news? Well, that depends. You know, there's always opportunity in real estate, and if you're willing to look for it, you will find it. And if you are serious about moving here, we actually made this video here all about the things that they don't tell you about living in Maine.